through March 31st, 2013, National Nutrition Month in the City of Goodyear, given by my hand under these free United States in the City of Goodyear on the 18th day of March 2013, to which I have caused the seal of the City of Goodyear to be affixed and have made this proclamation public. And there is your proclamation. And let's have a round of applause for this wonderful group. What do you want to do with the food in front of us?
Ready, 1, 2, one more. 1, 2, 3. Great, thank you guys.
Would you like to tell us just something about this treat you brought to us?
Oh, I would definitely like to tell you about it. The treat that we brought tonight is a spring in a bowl roasted beet salad. And many of you will say, I don't like beets, but when you roast them, they're delicious. The produce that's used in the recipe actually comes locally from Goodyear, from Duncan Family Farms. They actually donated that to us when we did our food tasting last week at the Wigwam Farmers Market. And we'll also do another tasting at Estrella Mountain Community College next week.
Thank you. That's better than my peanuts.
I know. All right. I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to be here to celebrate National Nutrition Month and a little bit about what it is. It's an annual nutrition education and information campaign that's conducted by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics each March. And this year's theme, which I think is important and can be lasting, is Eat Right Your Way Every Day. We're not the food police. What we do is try to encourage a personalized approach to eating by recognizing food preferences, lifestyle, culture, ethnic traditions, and health. So this year, Arizona in Action, as you know, has gone out to do these free food tastings in the community, and they were very well received. In fact, we provided over 250 free samples to many people in the community, and again, those beet haters turned into beet lovers, and that was great. As I mentioned, next week we'll go to Estrella Mountain Community College, and if you can get college students to eat beets, you're doing something right, so we'll have to update you on how that goes. And so the recipe that we provided for you again is the roasted beet salad, and we have a few extra samples for anyone who would like to try it, along with the recipe. And we're sure we won't get chopped, so don't chop us. But lastly, Arizona in Action wants to applaud the City of Goodyear in making National Nutrition Month a priority. And we want to thank you very much, and eat well, be well.
Well, thank you very much. Well, that's what we like. Can you hear this? That's what we like about our citizens, right? That they, what?
It's very good.
Is it good? I didn't,
Very delicious.
Somehow I got
Yes.
passed up, but you'll, I'll taste one of yours. Anybody have any comments before we go on? Oh, you don't, you don't eat vegetables? No. Just checking. Oh, dear. Okay, now is the time. Is there any citizens that have filled out cards this evening?
No, Mayor.
All right, well, we'll go on there. Well, let's go to the consent agenda. Will the city clerk please read the consent agenda, item 6.1 by title only, please?
Approved draft minutes of a regular meeting held on January 28th, 2013.
Thank you. That was quick and sweet. Does any councilman wish to remove an item off of the agenda, please? Let's do the public first. Does the public wish to remove an item off the consent agenda? No? All right. Is council removed, wish to remove the consent agenda 6.1? Anybody? No? Okay. Could I have a motion and a second, please, to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion from Councilman Campbell and a second from Councilman Stipp. Roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Osborne.
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano.
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell.
Aye.
Councilmember Barber.
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp.
Aye.
Mayor Lord.
Aye.
Passes 7-0.
All right, thank you. Now we're on to business. We will now consider authorizing the city manager to approve a CM at-risk construction contract not to exceed $7,058,500 for the 9/11 Dispatch Center project for the Goodyear Operations Center Phase 1 and Phase 2 projects. Regis to present.
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. It's a pleasure to be here this evening to present this action item for you. The action is to enter into a contract with D.L. Withers for the construction of the Goodyear Operations Center Phase 1, 2, and the Goodyear 911 and Communications Center. This is a guaranteed maximum price contract, or GMP, and with tonight's action and your approval, we can begin construction. First, I'd like to give you a little background on the project. In January 24th of 2011, Council approved the award of a design contract to Eric & Watkins. At that point in time, they began to meet with staff and establish the scope and budget and the design for the project. June 25th of 2012, the city entered into a SEMA risk contract with D.L. Withers. This contract provided the opportunity for constructability reviews to assist in the estimates and give a contractor's perspective on the design as we work through it. On June 25th, 2012, Council also approved Resolution 12-1492, authorizing the city to purchase the Veneta Complex. This provided the opportunity to relocate the communications center to a more secure location adjacent to our current police administration building. August 27th of 2012, Council approved a change order to the Eric & Watkins design contract to redesign the exterior of the building so it more matched the surrounding buildings here at the Veneta Complex, and to redesign the site for this building and the relocation of it leaving the Goodyear Operations Center down to 157th Avenue plant. Of course, on January 27th of this year, we held a groundbreaking, which the council attended, and it was a very successful groundbreaking, and it showed the project very well. Currently, the slide in front of you is the location of the 911 building as it is at the Veneta Complex. All of the slides you'll be seeing this evening is orientated to where north is on the top of the page or up. So this complex, or this 911 complex, will be located to the south of the center here. Half the lot is paved and we removed, and the other half is a dirt lot behind us that we'll begin the new construction on. As a result of relocating the 911 to this area, we had an opportunity to provide added security for the Police Administration Building and Investigations Bureau of the Goodyear Police Department. That comes to us at a cost of $126,000, and what it does, it provides a 6-foot secure fence around the rear of the Building E, or all of the current police department, and provides a security exit and entrance at the north end of it, and a security entrance and exit at between the 911 building and the current Building E, or the Police Administration Building. This will enhance secure parking for police investigations vehicles, police administration vehicles, and all of the 911 center operators for the facility. As we work through the components of the RWC and coordinated that with our 911 facility, as such, some of the components are not just adjacent to the building, but many of them are actually housed within the building. As we work through this, we realized that there was some efficiencies to gain in allowing our current contractor we have to administer certain aspects of the construction components of it. In other words, the construction of the tower, the ice bridge, the infrastructure, and then bringing components of the actual RWC backbone to this facility. And the backbone consists of the added size of the generator and the UPS for the backup for the RWC. This added cost to the 911 center by increasing the size of these complexities. And so that money, along with the tower itself, will bring in about $415,000 to the project. And those monies will be transferred to the 911 center from savings in the RWC, that along with the $126,000 for the added security. This slide demonstrates the Goodyear Operations Center Phase 1 and 2. It's located to the south of MC 85, just east of Estrella Parkway, and just adjacent to the current 157th Avenue Water Treatment Plant and Public Works Building. The master plan for this project consists of a street slay-down yard for the material storage and vehicle staging, a fueling facility with 3 large fueling tanks capable of taking full loads of fuel delivery loads and saving a surcharge of the short loads. It also provides for a vehicle wash facility for large and standard-sized city vehicles and an 1,800 square foot storage facility enabling facilities to purchase products at a bulk rate. Phase 1 and 2, the wash and fuel facility, originally scoped, the fueling facility was designed to be built to facilitate expansion in the future. It was identified that the facility needed to be designed completely up front in order to make sure we captured everything in this, and then we could, if budget did not allow us to, pare back and value engineer the project to be within budget. As we bid the project, it did turn out that the project was out of budget. However, given the restrictions that SB State Bill 1525 places on the collection of Public Works impact fees, we recommend that we transfer $450,000 from current Public Works impact fees into this project to complete this project and build it out fully. By doing so, it'll take this facility out 20 to 25 years to the future. And it actually is about as large as you want to build a single fueling facility. Another component identified as we moved through the design of this was a way to ingress and egress this component or this section of the project as we added additional vehicles coming to it. Romley Road is identified as the main point of access. It aligns to the future build out directly east of the project, so it'll be a full intersection of project development on the east side of us. It'll serve as a main access point for Roscoe Dog Park, the BMX track, the existing Public Works building, all the new proposed Goodyear Operations Center facilities. It creates a more efficient access to these facilities and will serve as the front door for these facilities and all other future facilities that are done at the Goodyear Operations Center. The cost of Romley Road is $217,000, and as part of additional funding we're also asking for to be transferred from current Public Works fees into this project so we can build it out. All total, the current Public Works transfer from existing Public Works fees is $667,000. In summary, for the budget, I'm sorry, let's slide ahead of myself here. As an alternative to the Romley Road and Estrella Parkway intersection, as designed right now, it'll have a single stop sign on Romley Road, and Estrella Parkway will be a through traffic nonstop. There are 2 options we can put in there. A roundabout, which can be constructed on a temporary condition for about $185,000, or a signalized intersection, which should be constructed again at a temporary situation at about $450,000. On the slide, there's some pros and cons listed as to one or the other. As you can see, the cost of the roundabout is substantially less. It does provide for 90% reduction in fatal crashes, 75% reduction in injury crashes, 30 to 40% reduction in pedestrian crashes, 10% reduction in bicycle crashes, 30 to 50% increase in traffic capacity, thereby enhancing the traffic flow. A signal at a cost of $450,000 will allow traffic to continue on Estrella Parkway at posted or higher speeds on a green light, and when the vehicles do stop at the red light, it does add to pollution and fuel consumption while it's idling at that light. These statistics and comments come from the Arizona Department of Highway Transportation website, and of course it's a pro roundabout website. This slide demonstrates just what a rendering would look like for a roundabout at that intersection. And currently it's not a funded element of the project. However, if council wishes, we can certainly look into it and see if we can locate funding and get some hard, good numbers for it. In summary for the project, I'd like to recap. The initial budget for the Public Works Phase 1 and 2, where Public Works impact fees are involved, approved to date is $3,034,000. Currently, we've either expended or encumbered $533,000. This leaves a remaining budget of $2,501,000. What we're asking for with this GMP is to transfer current public work impact fees into this project of $667,000, which will bring the revised budget for the public works portion of the project to $3,701,000. The public safety impact fees for the 911 communication center approved to date is $4,107,000. We've expended or encumbered $877,000, which leaves us a remaining budget of $3,230,000. We're asking for a transfer from the RWC, savings in the RWC project, to be transferred in for $542,000, which brings the total of that budget to $4,649,000. This concludes my presentation on it. Take questions or...
Thank you. Are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
All right. Could I please have a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
I heard a motion from Councilman Campbell and a second from Vice Mayor Osborne. Open for council discussion.
Why don't you go to Sherry?
Go to Sherry. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I've got 3, so if you want to go down to
I've got
Councilmember
2.
Lorentano.
First of all,
Councilman Loretano?
First of all, I thought it was originally supposed to come off the entrance. The egress and ingress was supposed to come off like 159th or something. Was that the original plan?
Through these different elements of design of the project, moving the 911 center around and other components, 159th Avenue was a consideration at one time. The 911 building was located on 159th Avenue alignment with Broadway, or a little south of it, and that made sense to bring it off that alignment. However, with the moving of the 911 to the location here of Veneta, the cost element of that is very extreme and would have put us much more over budget. By creating Romley, it's the permanent location for the front door and service to the fueling facility, to the public works, without going through the back of house public works yard.
Well, I have a lot of concerns about having it where you have it. I was on board when it was going to go through Romney, and I think I expressed the concerns before. I guess my concern is that's kind of Estrella Parkway is kind of the gateway to the whole Estrella Mountain Ranch and that whole community up there. To have the major fueling facility there and having these large trucks come and go on that street, that's why my understanding was supposed to come off, I guess, 159th and not hit Estrella. I'm not a fan of the roundabouts. We already have one going up there, and I'm just not really sold on moving the entrance with heavy truck traffic coming into that area of that community and as kind of a gateway. My understanding was going to come off more the industrial area from behind there, and that's what I would prefer.
Mayor, Councilmember Loretano, you are correct, and ultimately, if full build out as we move forward with this, the main heavy back of house stuff, the trucks, the fueling trucks, the delivery loads will come off of the MC85 159th Avenue. However, again, bringing in vehicles, this would be my vehicle, police vehicles, and any other staff vehicles to fuel their vehicle or wash it. At this point, to bring them through the back of house public works element of this would just, there's a lot of commotion. A lot of large trucks would be back in this area, and it'd be better to keep them out on a typical type traffic. We will have large traffic on this road to begin with, absolutely. But the ultimate desire and design will be that large vehicles come off of 159th Avenue.
How many years are we talking?
Councilmember Loretano, I can't answer that.
More than 1 or 2, I assume.
Absolutely,
a couple of years.
yes.
More than 5?
Could the city manager please address that?
Mayor and Councilmember Lorentano, it is not in our 5 years capital improvement plan at this point, so it's at least 5 years out, unless revenue sources come in better than they are right now.
Thank you.
Councilman Stiff? Didn't you?
Oh, I'm done, yeah.
Okay. I agree with Councilmember Loretano. Not another roundabout on Estrella Parkway. Oh, my God. Not to mention, we are talking about moving trucks in and out of that location. And I think the statistics probably stand for what they are, but I don't think they anticipate the kind of truck traffic we're talking about driving in and out of there. Secondly, this facility, we're talking about adding $667,000 to the cost of it, correct?
That's correct.
And the proposal is that come from Public Works impact fees.
That's correct.
We are also in the midst of discussing a new fleet facility, which is in the capital improvement plan, and I believe it's being proposed for next year's budget.
Mayor Lord.
Am I right so far?
Yes.
Okay. How is the $670,000 going to impact our ability to build and maintain the appropriate size fleet facility?
Mayor Lord, Councilmember Stipp, we actually, before we put this together, thought about that and looked at it very hard, and we do have the design element on board, Arrington Watkins. We'll bring a contract to you very shortly on that. We've done a actual site drawing, working with our Public Works Department, our Facilities Department, and identified what their needs would be and what the expectations were on that. And we've created a site plan, a good scoping plan for it, and we've got estimates on it, and the estimates are within our budget. We have $2.8 million available in impact fees. We're going to spend some money for design, and with the $667,000, we'll have about $2.1 million available for the construction of this. And by placing the facility immediately adjacent to this, all of the infrastructure is stubbed and ready to go for it. All we really will have is site work. The estimates all are very promising that we can come in and do this facility as desired for this money.
So we're even now talking about increasing the amount of traffic in and out of that Romley with the addition of the fleet facility there as well.
Mayor Lord, Councilmember Stipp, that is correct. This is the front door for the Goodyear Operations Center.
Okay. So I think that goes back to at least my point, and I would imagine Councilmember Loretano's point about a roundabout maybe not necessarily being the most efficient way of doing that. I am concerned about. And I hate to oversimplify it, but we are spending a lot of money on a fuel site and a place to wash our cars. We're talking about, I don't know what that last slide was, but it looks to be a little over $3 million on a place to get gas and to wash the car. And we're objecting to a different access point because it's too costly. So I'm looking for some reassurance from somebody that we're doing the best that we should be, not just because we've got it, and that's probably better for the manager.
City manager would like to address that, and while you're addressing that, can you just review for the public the advantages of using the impact fees by a certain time and what will happen to them if we don't use them?
Mayor, Councilmember Stipp, a couple of things on the impact fees. Those are one-time dollars that come into the city when permits are pulled, whether it be by a new business or a new residential unit. So those come in and were set up to actually be spent for bricks and mortar. So it's very consistent with how those development fees were initially set up. Development fee legislation has changed to where we now cannot include, it's very much reduced as far as what we can now get for public works development fees. So that is all changing. So that legislation is passed, and then we have, it's just right around the corner before we have to, I think it's 2014, we come back before council on a new approach on development fees, which will impact public works. As it relates to the operations site, this had been master planned. It did have these items in there: fuel bay, wash racks, vehicle, fleet facility, those types of things. that would have been at approximately this location where they're going now. So in terms of the cost for those facilities, a question I cannot answer, I don't have the details on, and maybe Regis can help out. The $3 million, there is cost for roads, there's cost for water, waste, water, sewer, et cetera. So I'm not sure how much of that is tied to infrastructure that helps to then improve the entire site. So when we add, for example, the fleet facility, it's very reduced cost now because you have those utilities adjacent. So it may be part of that overall cost is in the infrastructure side. But Regis, do you have the numbers for that?
Brian, I don't have the actual numbers on me. The infrastructure for the project itself is about $1.6 million. I do know that. That brings all the utilities, as Brian identified, to the site. Sewers clear over on 159th Avenue, so it's got to come all the way across. Water's a little more adjacent, but again, as we move through the design of this project, we build everything that's going to go under asphalt to the full capacity. We didn't downsize any water lines or any power consumption conduits or anything else. We built at full capacity, so we wouldn't have to go back in and open the roads back up again. And as I said earlier, Councilmember Stipp, the reason we feel comfortable with the fleet facility able to meet this cost is we will have no infrastructure cost to it at all. Everything will be property line to the site, and that's it, just site costs. And that is a large component of this.
Are we building a fleet facility that's going to match the longevity of the fuel facility, for example, which I think you said will be a 20 to 30-year fueling location? Are we building a fleet facility that's capable of matching that? I know we're doing the same thing with the 911 center.
Mayor Lord, Councilmember Stipp, no, we are not doing that. We're building this facility to be expandable for the future. We will be providing them their immediate needs right now, which are not being met at the current facility, and enhancing that and building it out to much more
For the
full
public's
capacity.
use, could you tell where that facility is, in the current facility that they're using for fueling?
Mayor Lord, yeah, that's directly north of Fire
181.
181. I'm sorry, thank you. Yeah, just off of Yuma, and it's the entire facility is less than an acre. That includes the building and the parking and everything. And this facility will be about 3 acres with about a 10,000 square foot to a 12,000 square foot building on it, accommodating, we've designed it to be 6 bays, 4 for small vehicles and 2 large bays for large vehicles, accommodate the staffing areas for break areas and things that they desperately need now. And the staffing area is something that they will have to grow into that component of it. It's not going to be oversized for the facility. But as we move forward, as they add to the fleet, we will have to locate funding, find funding to expand the building absolutely in the future. This should take him out, I'm not sure how long, but it should meet his needs for several years to come.
And just to kind of summarize, and I think that becomes my concern, is that we're putting a lot of emphasis on the fueling and the wash bay area, building that out to capacity and taking that all the way. But the thing that we're going to need, that we know we're going to have to grow into, is the fleet repair facility, and we're only building that to meet exactly what we need today with a little bit of expansion. But we've taken these other things and we're going all the way with them, and it's going to cost us a lot more later. We can always do with less fuel capacity. We can always do with, it's not big enough. But when we have to build another fleet facility and we don't have any capital money for it, and there is no impact fees, now we're going to be sitting here looking at one another going, well, how are we going to pay for this? When we may have put it all in the ground in 2013 instead of putting it above ground in 2013. Just my 2 cents.
Can somebody address that?
Mayor, council members, Stipp, the master plan for the ops center did include this phase 1 for the fuel bay and wash racks. We can provide that information as far as justifications, et cetera, that when we went through the CIP approval process. So that has been approved into the 5-year CIP. So this is now been designed, and now we're into the construction side. So it's been committed for some time, and then we had an opportunity when we looked at the fleet facility. That is an immediate need, and this management and certainly City Council addressed that as a priority, so we were able to add it, that will be actually tagged on to part of this project. So it's really looking at the dollars we have available to do fleet for now. It is substantially larger than what they're getting, but it will not be anywhere near build out. In fact, the operations center over the life of that facility, there are going to be a lot of expansions as we go along for different types of uses. I do want to, though, address the traffic on Estrella Parkway. Again, longer term, as we had looked at this going on 159th Avenue, I don't know if there's a way, in fairness to staff, I've not had an opportunity to look back at that since we moved the 911. But is there an ability to do still have some of the traffic go that route? All weather, dust suppressed access road? Don't know. I do know that we're doing some of that now, limited, but I just don't know what the feasibility or the cost of that is at this point.
What is the, I'm going to ask something. What was I remember some time ago they talked about eventually expanding Estrella Parkway and on more lanes. I just remember that discussion. And of course that means the bridge expansion, so it's not just one thing. What was that, and when was that programmed, or was that just so far out that...
The Mayor, specific to Estrella Parkway, we can get you I'm not sure when we were looking at widening that. Our partner, I call it our partner, but the landowner on the east side of Estrella Parkway, which is SunMP, they would have a responsibility to build out half their roadway as well, only at the time that they go into development. They do have a cost-sharing agreement with us for the signal at Romley Road. And, at some point they'll be responsible for half that intersection. It has been, in the master plan, it has been identified as the main access point, not for heavy traffic over the life of the plant, but it has been one of the key access points into that facility, especially as part of it to access the dog park, the BMX track, as well as administration for public works.
Can I?
Yes, Councilman Loretano.
I want to be clear. I don't have a problem with the 911 part of this. I don't have a problem with the wash racks in the fuel center. I know we do need those in the maintenance center. I know we need that. My biggest concern is, I remember, I think it was when I was planning and zoning, that in the future plan, there's another roundabout plan on Estrella by the golf club coming down there, and they were going to straighten out that curve, which is quite dangerous coming in the morning. And you take the PIR traffic, granted it's only a couple times a year, with a roundabout and heavy traffic. I just can't support this if that's going to be where the heavy traffic's going. And that is it's just a safety issue. That road is, I don't want to say it's unsafe, but there's lots of accidents coming down there. People fly down through there. A roundabout, I just don't see that. I just don't see the heavy traffic going in there. I understand that the civilian traffic and people, the office traffic and cars is one thing, but I'm concerned about the heavy truck traffic. I don't want that on there, and I can't support this because of that right now.
I absolutely agree with Sherry.
Councilman Barber, excuse me.
I absolutely agree with Sherry. Right now, I mean, it's there are times trying to get through, just on that little bridge there, and trying to get through is just too much, and I can't be for this either.
Vice Mayor Osborne.
Okay, so I just would like to, in a sense, recap the discussion, because you said that the funding currently you do not have for the roundabout or the signal, correct? Or is that also the question of this evening? Which one do we prefer?
Vice Mayor Osborne, that is correct. This was just an informational slide, an informational on the intersection. Currently, we've created an intersection with a left turn lane. This is what's in the contract. Left turn lane, a right decel lane, and building the intersection out to a more appropriate intersection for traffic going by at 45 miles an hour. Again, just an informational side, something out there, because I heard a lot of concerns at the last presentation I gave to you about the safety of the intersection, things like that. So just something we were putting out there and giving the options of signalized or other things. Again, none of this is funded. None of this is in the CIP. It's just informational purposes at this time.
Can you put up the map
Yeah,
again?
yes, please.
Put up the map on the roadway. Thank you.
Can you bring the presentation back?
Just the roadway one.
This one here, Mayor?
Yes.
Yes.
It's just going to be a left turn. Mayor, can I?
And I'm sorry.
I guess that's even more of my concern, that neither of these are funded. So it's just going to be kind of a left turn with people have a stop sign to get on or off that road with people coming in there, you're not controlled with traffic. At MC 85 is your last place people are going to stop, and they get up high speeds to get up there or come down that mountain. And with neither of these options there, I think that makes Estrella even a worse option, in my opinion.
Mayor Lord, Councilmember Loretano, I understand the concern. That's one of the reasons we were trying to bring up just, again, unfunded ideas and for you to review. We would have the same situation, however, at 159th Avenue and MC 85. Again, just a stop sign off of 159th Avenue onto MC 85. If we were to do the access point that way.
Councilman Campbell?
Thank you. I have 4 questions, Regis, and one of them is going to go to the city manager. I just want to remind someone that we thought the train park was going to be around here somewhere, and I don't want it lost in changing the road from Rozier Road to Romney Road. That's just one thought. I have 3 questions. Number 1, did you stipulate that the tower was going to be built by your architect to save money, or did I not hear that?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Tower, your radio tower.
Mayor Lord, Councilman
That's
Campbell.
additional.
Absolutely, no.
Okay, that's additional. Okay, the second question is for the right turn lane going southbound and the left turn lane going northbound. You're going to have the same problem at Romney Road as we do at Rozier Road now. For people coming in and out of that dog park, they can't get out. So I know down the road we may need to talk about a light. I'd rather have a light there, no roundabout. Okay.
Mayor Lord, Councilmember Campbell, yes, and currently there is no left turn lane
No,
at
there's
the Rozier,
not.
so we'll be adding the left turn lane and a little bit more of a lengthy decel lane to turn right. So
Right. Because there's not even any shoulders either. So, okay.
Other comments, questions?
Well, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm not sure that everybody's
Vice
on the
Mayor?
same page yet.
No, we're not.
I feel like there needs to be a little more discussion, and I actually had made the motion, so I would like to rescind my motion and.
But I made the motion. I thought I made the motion.
Did I say? I thought I made it.
No.
I thought you seconded. Did you make it?
Yeah, I made the motion so that we could get it on the table to
Exactly.
discuss it.
Maybe I seconded it.
think
Okay.
you seconded
Did I second it? Okay, Wally. Well, I would
correct?
put. Was that?
Is that correct?
Councilmember Campbell motioned and
Okay,
Vice
and I
Mayor
did second it.
seconded.
All right. So I would like to present an option to the correct person that made the motion that maybe we need to table this motion to get a little more information to vet out the situation with the egress and ingress, and that's just what I'm putting out there because I don't feel like everybody's on the same page yet.
I see. Did you want to make a comment? No.
I do. Can we
Councilman Stipp?
can we please, if we're going to go down that road, and I realize you hold all the cards here, Councilmember Campbell.
Yes, I do.
But if we're going to go down that road, can we please separate the 2 projects then? Let's get the 911 center is under contract. We've already done the groundbreaking. This thing is already delayed. Let's separate the project. If we've got a problem here, and that's the direction we want to go, that's okay. But I do not want to delay that 911 center
Very good point.
any more hours than we have.
Councilman Campbell.
Oh, so may I ask our city attorney when you finish? Thank you.
Bill, I'm going to ask you to make the motion for the 911.
Well, I can just amend my motion.
Madam Mayor, excuse me, I was just conferring
Thank you.
with Regis. These are 2 GMPs. If you want to approve the 911 tonight, you can, and just table the other, if you'd like to do that this evening. So you could vote on the 911 center and moving forward on the guaranteed maximum price, the $3,839,405, authorizing that contract and tabling the contract on the operations center till a later date. So if you'd like to do that this evening, that is an option.
Okay, so we clear up, we need to resend this. Is it this first, just to
You can rescind it
simplify
or you
it?
can amend it.
All right, let's do that first. All right, so you have a motion to rescind the motion.
You want to
made,
rescind your original motion?
The original motion?
That's up to you.
Is
So
that,
we can get on and then.
is that
we'll
what
do
you
the
want
other
us to do? Is to rescind it rather than amend it? Okay, I
Technically, you should
rescind it.
amend it since you already have a motion and it's a second. So technically, you should have an amendment, and the amendment would be to approve $3,839,405 for the 911 center and continue the consideration of funding for the Goodyear Operations Center Phase 1 and Phase 2.
You have
If you
that?
want to say so moved, we're good.
Oh,
So moved.
so moved. Second.
All right, so we have a motion by Councilman Campbell and a second by Vice Mayor Osborne. And let's do a roll call vote on this, please.
That's your amendment, so you can do a voice vote on that and then just do a roll call.
Okay.
And this is just for 911.
That's your amendment.
This is for the 911. So
This is to approve the
This is-
911 and suspend the other one.
then the other one. So roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Pizzillo,
Aye.
Councilmember Lortano,
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell,
Aye.
Councilmember Barber,
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp,
Aye.
Mayor Lord. I'm sorry, Vice Mayor Osborne,
Aye.
Mayor Lord.
Aye.
Passes 7-0.
All right, thank you. Well, that was well done. If you have questions about it, this is the time to bring them forth and tax staff with figuring this out. Before we go on to this, I just want to make sure we're concerned about the road, right? And the entrance going into where it's now designated.
Yeah, my concern is having the heavy traffic. If we could do something like the city manager was saying, that we could make sure that the heavy traffic is coming off another road, is required to come off another road.
Oh, you mean the trucks?
The
coming
trucks.
in and out of there.
You're
off-
still going to have to do a stop sign or something there, because just even regular traffic coming out of there. I use the BMX park a lot, and I will tell you, there's been lots of times I've been almost taken out of there.
Are we doing what we're not supposed to do? Are
No, you need to
okay.
take another
You're
vote
looking at me
whenever
with
you're
your
done.
finger, and I'm thinking, okay.
Am I saying too much?
Well, no, keep going. I just
going.
want to make
So,
sure.
so that's my concern is if we can separate the heavy truck traffic with the regular traffic and still do something at that intersection, because even just having regular traffic in there with that traffic flying down that hill is a safety concern, because someone's going to be stopped to turn a left, and I know what's going to happen. It's not going to be good.
Agreed.
Councilman Barber.
Agreed with Sherry. And I think another thing, too, I know that the information about the roundabout came from a website that is pro roundabouts. I think I'd like to see a little bit more balanced information about roundabouts versus lights on that as well. And I don't know if it's appropriate or not, but maybe to ask the police chief about, accidents in that area, if there are any other issues.
Well, that's what I agree with you. I think that I would like to hear the number of complaints and accidents and something on the roundabout. And we were presented with it was a great presentation on roundabouts. And I don't know what company did it or who.
That's an oxymoron.
Do you remember? No.
That's an oxymoron.
That's an oxymoron. All right. I'll go with that. It's okay.
Nothing great about it, roundabouts.
Yeah, that's all right. So I don't know if we have that available to show, if it needs to be shown again. I think the question here is not so much that. I think the question is we don't want the traffic, heavy traffic going out on Estrella Parkway. Is that correct? I'm looking at
Safety issue.
Yeah,
It's a safety issue, yeah.
we can provide that. Police
Okay.
chief just confirmed that.
Okay, great.
All right, as long as we're piling onto that list of things to look at, can we also then look at what would the implications be to the project if we were to actually add the traffic light there, and what paring back of the project might entail? What would the ramifications of adding the traffic light now be? And I can't believe I just said I want another traffic light, but I think ultimately with the amount of traffic that this whole new public works facility is going to bring, I think the only way to make that area safe is to stop the traffic and let them enter and exit. So if we can just look at that.
And one other thing was brought up about, be sure that you address later the dog park and the train park. That was all supposed to be. And I think Councilman Campbell brought that up. I'd like to have that explanation also. And I see Councilman Barber still has a question. Yes.
I'm sorry. It's just a comment, really. We only have so many options of getting out of Estrella, and that is one of our major that's one of the major ways we get out of that community. And so I would really like, I appreciate that staff has taken the time to come back with us with some information.
I'm concerned about, accidents, but I will say that it would control the speed of what's coming out of there, because I've gone up to your community after the shopping center and then come back down the hill, and people are just right up against me and wanting to pass me, and I'm going the speed limit. And so they're not very disciplined, and their speed limit's coming down there anyway as it stands. So I don't know what you'd need there to slow people up. So in a sense, if I didn't have to worry about the truck traffic, I might say that would be a good way to slow those people that are speeding up and down that road. So just a sidebar, okay?
Madam Mayor, your vote was for the amendment. You need to you need to take a vote on your main motion.
I'm sorry, what?
You need to take a vote on your main motion.
As amended.
But he actually made,
As amended.
she just.
Roll call vote on that as amended.
Sure, why not?
Councilmember Loretano?
Again, this is for the 911, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
As amended.
As amended.
As amended.
Yes. Aye.
Councilmember Campbell? Aye. Councilmember Barber?
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Osborne?
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
Passes 7-0.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's go down to 7.2. We will now consider appointing Tammy Grisette to the Goodyear Citizen Corps Council to represent education for a 2-year term expiring on March 18th, 2015. And Tim Newbill will present.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. How are we doing?
Great.
I'm here to present
Good there,
Tammy
Mr.
Grisette,
Newbill.
the principal of Millennium High School. In my opinion, the greatest high school since both of my children graduated from, 2 of the 4 graduated from there.
Go
So she
Tigers.
has agreed with some arm twisting to sit on the council with us to sort of fill in that that connection for us for education. So here's Tammy Grisette, and she's just riveted and excited and ready to be a part of the team.
Thank you. At this moment, are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
All right. Would anybody from the audience like to speak? Could I have a motion and a second from council?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Bazzillo and a second by Councilman Stipp. Open for council discussion? Well, I'm going to say something. Thank you very much. We appreciate you being a part of this committee and
Yes.
the Corps, and it's very important, so thank you. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. And we're going to wait for the oath until the next one, okay? So
ma'am.
if you'll just stand by, we appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Mayor and Council.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Tammy.
We're going on to 7.3, and that we will now consider the appointments to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Joe Schmidt will present.
I'm shorter. Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's my pleasure to present you with some recommendations for appointments to the Planning and Zoning Commission. We had 4 positions that were up that expired, and we were fortunate to have 2 of the incumbents reapply, and we had a number of applications for the vacant positions, and we had a really good set of candidates, and the council subcommittee for appointments have made a recommendation to reappoint Leslie Miller and Kathleen Short to another term on the Planning and Zoning Commission. Ms. Miller's been a resident for 8 years and lives in Pebble Creek and has served 1 term already. Kathleen Short is a resident for 10 years and lives in the Estrella area and has also served one term already. So we're looking forward to hopefully their reappointment. As a result of the interviews that were conducted, the subcommittee is recommending the appointment of Randy Barnes, who's been a resident of Palm Valley for 1.5 years and is an architect, and also the recommendation of Patrick Bray, who's been a resident for 5 years and lives in the Canyon Trails area and works for the Arizona Cattlemen's Association, if you recall. You've seen Mr. Bray before.
Yes, we have.
So what I'd
Very
like to ask...
exciting times, may I add.
It's it's maybe not the right thing to say, but when he's not here, it was a good thing. That things were going smoothly down in the south end of town.
There was no bumps in the road, literally.
So we have two recommendations. The first recommendation is to reappoint Leslie Miller and Kathleen Short to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a 3-year term expiring on January 31st, 2016. And a recommendation for the council to appoint Randy Barnes and Patrick Bray, also for the Planning and Zoning Commission for a 3-year term expiring on January 31st, 2016. And then if you would take each motion in sequence, then the clerk will administer the oath of office after it's complete.
Great, thank you very much. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to talk about Kathleen Short and Leslie Miller for the Planning and Zoning Commission. Are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
Is there anyone from the audience that would like to speak? Okay, could I please have a motion, please, and a second for Kathleen Short and Leslie Miller on the Planning and Zoning Commission?
So moved.
Second.
I hear a motion by Councilman Pizzillo and a second by Councilman Loretano. Open for council discussion.
Mayor, we had the opportunity to re-interview, or at least the council subcommittee has decided to re-interview everyone. And I'll just make the statement now for both these two ladies and the two gentlemen that we're suggesting. We have been blessed with some great people to do some great work in our city. And despite what we've said about Patrick, he keeps coming back. So
well, we haven't voted on him yet. He's coming back.
But he's back, so I'm just saying. But we have some great people who really are very passionate about the future of this city and where we have been and where we have the potential to go. And that excitement is I think what makes us great. So
thank you.
Thank you to everybody who applied.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Now we're going to be talking about Randy Barnes and Patrick Bay. And so are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
Okay. Anybody from the audience would like to speak? Then I please have a motion for considering the appointment of Randy Barnes and Patrick Bay to the Planning and Zoning Commission, and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
A motion was made by Councilman Pizzillo and a second by Councilman Campbell. Open for discussion. I think we've really done this one well. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. I don't think any negatives here. All ayes. All right. So next, did we take? Oh no, we have one
get
more.
to do the oath.
Yes, we will now bring the planning and zoning members. I had that one. I just want to make sure I voted everybody in. And Tammy Grisette, please come up so the city clerk can administer the oath of loyalty.
Please raise your
There's
right
an
hand.
audience.
I
No clue.
state your name. Do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of Arizona, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of Planning and Zoning and Goodyear Citizen Corps Council. Very good. According to the best of my ability. So I do affirm. Very good. Congratulations.
We want a picture, so did you get a picture of them? Great, thank you.
Mayor, could I say one thing? Just quickly.
Vice Mayor Osborne?
Ladies and gentlemen, Planning, Zoning, and Tammy, she just left. I just wanted to say thank you all for stepping up. We appreciate your leadership in our city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's go to 7.4. That's designating a mayor, and the reason is we need a councilman to serve as acting mayor in the absence of myself and Vice Mayor Osborne on March 22nd. So that's what we're up for. So are there any speaker cards on that? I would hope not. Would anybody from the audience like to speak? We won there too again. So could I please have a motion to select an acting mayor on March 22nd? Do I hear a motion?
A motion for an acting
Now I'm going to
mayor?
say, you're going to do that, but then I'm going to say, give me a name. So, okay?
Okay.
Isn't that how I'm supposed to do this?
You need to. Someone needs to make a motion for a name.
With a
So
name.
that's
With
what
a
I'm
name.
making.
With a
I was
name.
going to do it in reverse, make a motion to it and
Who's
then a
gonna be
name.
here?
All right.
I didn't
So
know
I
she's
need a
on.
motion for somebody, because there's no discussion on this in this way. So, motion for an acting mayor for March 22nd. Do I hear one? And the select name.
Mayor, I would like to, I guess, make a motion that.
There's no guessing about this
I
one.
guess.
Either you're going to do it or not.
As long as someone doesn't try to make a new anthem for our city, I would make a motion to have Joe Pizzillo as acting mayor in our absence.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
I hear a motion by Vice Mayor Osborne for Councilman Pizzillo as the interim, not interim, you were an interim, weren't you? Interim for a day. As an acting mayor for March 22nd, and a second by, whom gave the second? By Councilman Stipp. Now we're open for council discussion. Now you have it. You can,
Oh, now I should say you
can
can't
really-
make a new
yeah,
anthem of
yeah.
ACDC's.
Oh, I want to hear a new anthem.
Mayor, that would be to only exercise the duties allowed by the charter. Is that correct?
I'm going to leave a long note on
That's
the
correct,
desk.
isn't
Did
it,
we do?
Mr.
I see
Attorney?
you're talking again. Did we do something wrong again?
No. We were. Not that you didn't think wrong in the first place, but no, we were talking about something else.
Oh, okay. Well,
About how to avoid
see,
this
if you
in the
do
future.
that while we're doing that, you can see what it does. I'm going to have to talk to you like I talk to my counsel.
So, Mayor, is it just for one day?
It's just for one day. I'm
Oh,
going.
my goodness.
Well,
Okay.
you have
Which
to
day
do
was
it,
gonna
and
do?
I'm leaving at 5:30 in the morning for Mexico, and I won't be back until.
We're both going to be in Mexico?
That's right.
For one day?
Yes,
Poor
it's-
Mexico.
It's on a mag trip.
Okay.
So.
Nothing wrong with our
Yeah.
healthcare system.
So, okay, so we're going to put this, everybody agrees on this, so let's say, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Okay, now we're on to information items. Would anybody like to talk about some of the things you've done this last week?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, Mayor, if I may.
Yes, you
On
may.
Wednesday night, I attended the CDAC meeting. Our city will be proposing a grant application to finish the water line replacement for historic Goodyear. And then Friday afternoon, I spent another 4 hours downtown talking about our grant application because we're trying to, we would like to be successful with that. Also on Wednesday night, I attended the F-35 simulator reception at the Wigwam, and that was very, very interesting before I went to the CDAC meeting. And that's all I want to talk about.
Did you get in it?
No, I didn't have time because I was only there a half an hour because Katie picked me up to take me to CDAC. So they said the next time it comes into town, they're going to call me so I can see it. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'll get it the next time.
No one else? Well, I do. I want to mention something, some information for you tonight. Arizona Gives Day. We want to mention that's on Wednesday, March 20th, is Arizona Gives Day. This was designed as a day to unite our state around the community and giving back. Arizona Gives Back is an online movement for the Arizonans to unite and raise as much money as they can for the nonprofit organizations of their choice. Our nonprofit sector is not only important because of the vital services they provide, but they are also an economic engine for our state. The nonprofit sector in Arizona is valued at $24 million. So please, this is sort of an ad here, so please consider participating in Arizona Gives Day, and you can find more information on azgives.org. Okay, so now I'll turn this over to the city manager. I think we're all lacking information because we spent a week in Washington attending class after class, learning and mixing with all the different council people and mayors of all the states, and it's very educational. So, city manager, you've got it.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. First, in terms of follow-up, we will let you know when we're ready to come back to you regarding all issues related to the Ops Center that we discussed tonight. So I'm not sure when that'll actually be on the agenda, but we'll let you know as soon as that's available. In terms of so those were the only follow-up items that I had tonight, and there were several just specific to that area. In terms of some additional information items, just real quickly, I know you're aware that Nathan Torres was selected as a Parks and Rec Director. He has not been formally introduced, though, to council, so I just wanted to acknowledge Nathan for being successfully selected. So, Nathan, you don't have an opportunity to give a speech tonight, but just real quickly, we know him as our ballpark guy, a general manager for many years. He's been in that business for about 11 years and, with us since 07. But really more than 22 years in municipal parks, so another 11 years have focused on other parks and recreation. So excited to have him on board. He officially assumed that position on March 4th. Second item is Governor's Finance Officers Association Budget Award. That's a mouthful, so we call it GFOA. But we received Distinguished Budget Presentation Award for our this current fiscal year 12-13 budget book. It's the highest form of recognition in governmental budgeting, and it's our 12th consecutive year in receiving that. So just wanted to recognize a couple of folks on the budget division team: Terry Canada, Tracy DeSoma, John Casella, Ken Kennedy, and Kathy Sheff. Worked hard behind the scenes to make to allow us to get this award again, so thanks to them. Fire Station 181, this is information, here's another mouthful, Building Operators Managers Association, which we call BOMA, Award for Energy Efficiency. Fire Station 181 actually got that out of 74 fire and police facilities amongst 4 cities throughout the valley. So part of that, it's just a tribute to those folks that work out of that station. It's a most energy efficient fire facility amongst those 74 that it compared against. And we liken it to the crews paying attention to thermostat, conservative use of artificial lighting. It's almost a 20,000 square foot building, so they're working hard. We will actually receive an award March 20th, this Wednesday, at an awards luncheon. So congratulations to the fire staff that made that possible. And lastly, and some of you were there, we broke a record on Saturday night. The game at the Goodyear Ballpark, Cleveland Indians, San Francisco Giants. It was a new attendance record, so we had 11,023 fans on hand, capped off by a fireworks show. And our Indians ended up winning that. You know, in spring training, it's kind of anticlimactic as far as a winner because they put a lot of their plugs in later in the game.
Win's a win.
A win is a win.
Especially against the Giants.
Yeah, against the Giants. But 11,023 fans, that compared to 10,479 that we had in our inaugural season in 2009. So it's, for those that were there, I know you experienced the energy and a lot of positive comments about that evening.
It's fantastic.
So, Mayor, members of the council, that's all I have tonight.
I just want to make a couple compliments, especially the police department. That was ingenious, closing off Bullard and parking those cars there. When I first heard Bullard was going to be closed at 6, and Ron and I went to the game, and it was so much fun. It was watching the traffic trying to get in. Took a long time, but it was so exciting to see every seat filled. I couldn't believe it. But the parking, it really was so great. They had used Bullard, one lane, and double parked cars, and it took the overflow. So it was really pretty special. So, and since I've been gone a while, did we talk at all about Canada Day? Did we have that you might want to mention that, because that was very successful?
Canada Day, I'm not trying, what was the total fan count? I want to say around 5,500? 5,012. But Canada Day, we had an opportunity to have David Franson, who's the Consul General of Canada. He's based out of Los Angeles. He represents Southern California, Nevada, as well as Arizona. So we had an opportunity to have him out here throw the first pitch, and certainly council had an opportunity to meet with him. We just heard a lot of positives. The Canadians that were there proudly wearing the Canadian flags that were handed out. We found out that Alberta was the most attended province, if you will, from a fan base. But overall, an excellent night. We just heard a lot of positives. So, and the Consul General was deeply appreciative of all the hard work that our staff did in getting ready for that.
Well, my kudos to staff again, because how many people bought tickets that night at the window? 1,500 or something like that?
2,800 tickets that were exchanged at the window.
At the window. So, you know, they didn't pre-buy their tickets, and so you can imagine the time it took for staff and the organization and how well it works. So, really a smooth job. So I just want to congratulate everybody. Okay, you know we have another meeting, don't you all? So don't go anyplace. But our next meeting will be March 25th. We'll have a work session at 5 with a regular meeting following that. So with that, I'm going to adjourn it, and then we're going to go into a special meeting. This meeting adjourned, and now we'll go ahead and call to order the second special meeting, Monday, March 18th. And as I look on the dais, we are all present. We have one item on the business. I would like a motion, a second, to convene an executive session for discussion or consultation with the city attorney for legal advice regarding the meet and confer ordinance and memorandums of understanding with employee organizations for discussion and consultation with the city's designated representatives in order to consider its position and instruct its representatives regarding negotiations with employee organizations regarding salaries, salary schedules, or compensation paid in a form of fringe benefits for the employees of the city. So now.
So moved.
Second.
So I heard, thank you, you're so quick, from Councilman Stiff. Do I hear a second?
You did. Councilman Barber.
Councilman
Second,
Barber,
sorry.
a second. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Campbell,
Aye.
Councilmember Barber,
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Osborne,
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo, Councilmember Loretano,
Aye.
Mayor Lord.
Aye.
Passes 7-0.
Passes 7-0. We'll now go into a special executive meeting.